can't go through trauma without it showing up in your life. The truth always works, even if the other person doesn't listen. I agree with that at my soul. Hey everybody, welcome back to another chapter of the Book of Sean. Listen, 2 weeks till Election Day, people. I hope you voted. I hope you're about to vote. You know, what did Michelle Obama say? Have a plan. Take a sandwich and a chair and a mask and get your butt to the polls and vote. Well, however you do it, mail it in, just do it. 2 weeks till Election Day. I'm excited, people. I'm telling you, I just have to believe that good things are going to happen. I'm not a pessimist. I'm definitely not a damn Afro pessimist. That's a whole nother show. We should do a whole show on that. I am hopeful. I'm hopeful. And hope doesn't mean that I'm optimistic, because I'm not optimistic about much of anything. Optimism says that anything that it's going to work out, because that's how things are. Things always get better. Optimism says it's just going to work out. Hope doesn't say that. Hope says, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Hope says this whole thing could just fall into a big pot of mess. But hope says I'm going to do everything that I can to add to some positivity to the situation. And I hope that something greater than me will aid me in my effort. Hope says, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I plan on doing my part to make sure that I win. I'm hopeful. That's what you got to be tonight. Not optimistic. Don't be optimistic about Biden or Trump losing or vice versa, if that's how you are. Be hopeful. Do your part and pray that something greater than you will help us get this country at last on the right direction, or at least leaning in the right direction. Anyway, enough of all that. Because there's a whole thing I want to tell y'all about the internet and millennials, but I'll do it tomorrow night. Anyhow, let me welcome to the program my guest tonight. She is an amazing businesswoman with an amazing story, a product that I want you to hear about, but a life I'm much more interested in you knowing. What a story, what a life. Welcome to the program tonight, the one and only Tanika Randall. Hey, Tanika.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you. I love your skin. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, that's how you start this show. By adjusting your crown. I see you smiling. I sense your energy. And I'm wondering tonight, what keeps you motivated? What keeps that smile on your face?
Like you, I am a hopeful person. I don't know how everybody else feel, but I believe in God and I get my energy from him. He has done so much in my life when I didn't feel worthy, when I didn't even believe in him, he still believed in me. So that's what keep me going, like every day, all the time.
Talk to me about a time, because I can relate to that. You said something that I can totally relate to. Talk to me about a time when you didn't feel worthy.
Oh gosh, like when I was in my 20s, I'm a PK. I'm pretty scared. My dad is a pastor. Tell. Oh, you can't. Yeah, in my 20s, like I'll say probably my teens too, but really in my 20s, I realized that I did not believe in God, but I didn't tell anybody that. I put on this illusion like I did. I didn't say like either or, but I didn't believe, and I struggled with it for a long time, a really, really long time. And then, but I'm weird because even though I didn't believe in him, I would still say, all right, God, I don't know if you up there, but if you are up there, I talk like, like we talking. I like help us out because I don't believe in you, but I want to. If you there, help me. And he came through in a way that it's crazy how he came through. I don't know if you want to go into all that, but I had a dream. I was a person that always had dreams and saw stuff and would say, oh, I'm psychic because I'm always dreaming about stuff and it happened. But I literally had a dream where God stepped in and intervened, and like I woke up a different person. Like literally, and I've been changed ever since. It's like he literally like stepped into that dream and took my hand, and I haven't been the same ever since.
That's a hell of a dream.
It was. I woke up shaking. I'm telling you, it was crazy.
So
And it was
you
on
went
a
from
Sunday morning.
you went from not believing or you were probably more agnostic, right? Which is not knowing, right?
Yeah,
Not being sure.
yeah, like I was out, even as a kid, I questioned. I remember asking my grandma, well, if God created all of this, who created him? And my grandma, my grandma's from Mississippi, but growing up in the New Orleans area, like, baby, there are some things that you'll never know the answer to, and you don't need to know the answer to. So yeah, but that's how I've always been, like, with the whole God thing, like, I don't know. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to stay here long because there's so much I want to talk to you about. But I have to ask you this though, because I think you're part of your story. First, there's a lot of people who are agnostic who don't really know, right? They want to believe, but they don't know. So that's A. But B is, here's the part that I think more people can connect to and really, really tap into, is what did it feel like going to church every Sunday and being in that community, knowing that there was a part of you, if you said it or mentioned it, you would immediately be judged, rejected, and criticized?
I stayed, like, when it became my choice to go to church, like I really didn't go. I only went for funerals and for weddings. I stayed away from it because when I was in the church, like, the whole time my mind was somewhere else, and my mind was breaking apart, like, everything that I was told, like, the whole time. I couldn't even focus and get into it. I would look at people catching the Holy Ghost, like, why are they faking? Like, that so I avoided it. I did.
Tamika, the irony of it is that experience is not the hallmark of an inferior mind, but is rather the fact that you were a critically engaged and intelligent person. And you did not cut your intelligence off when you walked into the church. The sad part is that most churches don't allow for intelligence. Most churches don't allow for free thinking. Most churches can't answer the question that you asked your grandmother, not because grandma is a bad person, obviously, but she was never empowered to be able to answer that kind of question because church doesn't promote thinking, most of them. But that's another show.
Yeah, that's another show.
That's another show. Let's talk about your life in 2011, right? Because in 2011, you really had a change that changed the trajectory of your life. You mentioned your faith, but let's talk about your health. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so in 2011, actually, I was in my last 2 weeks of nursing school. So 2 weeks away from finishing nursing school. I wasn't feeling right. My body, I was getting swollen, like I had cankles, and I wasn't a thick person. I wasn't feeling right. I couldn't breathe. So I went to my doctor first. And my doctor was like, oh, it's just nursing school stress. I was 28 years old at the time. Oh, it's just nursing school stress. You're okay. You're about to graduate, whatever. But that, I didn't settle for that. I was like, no, I went and got another opinion. And that was actually a nurse practitioner. When I walked into his office, he was like, no, Tanika, something is wrong, and I'm going to figure it out today. So he did all the things my doctor should have done. He ran the labs, he ran the tests, he did x-rays, EKG, all of that, and called me back an hour later and told me, you need to go to the emergency room now because you're severely anemic. But then when I got to the ER, I'm thinking, oh, I just need blood. It's fine. I learned about this in nursing school. It's fine. I just need blood. I'm going to be back to normal. But when I got to the emergency room, they didn't try to give me blood. They told me we need to do a bone marrow biopsy now. And I was like, y'all don't, if I just need blood, y'all don't, that's not something that you just do when somebody just needs blood. But I didn't say anything to my family. I didn't say anything to anybody. And I stayed there, and they told me I had to stay until the results came back. Of course, this was on a Friday, and nothing happens on the weekend. So I had to wait until the next week. And that Tuesday morning, the doctor sat down next to me and told me I had cancer. He said, Tanika, you have cancer. You have leukemia. And in my faith, immediately stepped in. I broke down crying, but then I started praying. But yeah, that is what that dream prepared me for, that moment that I was in that day, April 19, 2011.
I can hear in your voice, you still feel it.
Yeah, every time I've told this story to multiple people, but every time it's like flashbacks. I immediately go back to that dream and to that day. Yeah.
How does it feel? How? Because you told me the story, what you didn't tell me is how that day felt. How did the day feel?
The day I was diagnosed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that day I felt instantly it was heavy. I remember, the whole how could this happen to me? I felt heavy. I remember my heart feeling like it was about to jump out of my chest. It was just really, really heavy. And then that uncertainty of like, what is happening? Why is this happening to me? And like, what is this going to lead to? And I ended up getting started on chemo that night. So I don't even think they gave me time to even process what was going on because everything happened so fast. I was diagnosed, they immediately shipped me to another hospital and like put a PICC line in my arm and started me on chemo like within hours. Like everything happened so fast. I didn't even have time to like really process or think.
Yeah. Listen, I got to take a break, but let's do this. I'm going to give you some emotions and you say yes if you felt these emotions, all right?
Okay.
All right. What? Fear.
Yes.
Anxiety.
Yes.
Despair.
No, not despair.
Worry.
Worry, initially, yes.
Confusion.
Confusion, yes.
Yeah. I did that with you because I want people to understand that while they may not have had a cancer diagnosis in the last 6 months or 30 days, all of us have felt what you felt, but maybe for different reasons. We'll talk about it more on the other side of this break because you're really doing something special tonight. We haven't even gotten to the part of the story where you get to the victory, but this part is already helping us. Tanika Randall, you're a gift already. I can't wait to do more. We'll be back. Don't you go nowhere.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for all that you're doing to help everyone in this country make their voices heard in this year's election and in every election. Your work has never been more important. From the ongoing pandemic to the passion and protests we've seen for racial and social justice, it's clear that we're in the middle of a big moment in this country. And that means we need leadership that honestly reflects who we are and what we stand for. Our job between now and November is to make sure everyone we know understands that the power to make change rests on our ability to cast a vote. Fair and safe voting is going to be more important than ever this year. And that's why When We All Vote is fighting to expand vote by mail, in-person early voting, and online voter registration. Now, I'm going to be honest. We're really going to need your help to make these efforts a success. Luckily, the first step is an easy one. Just spread the word. Make sure your friends, families, and communities are registered, know their rights, and are fully prepared to vote by mail this year or vote early in person. So, go to whenweallvote.org to find out more and get yourselves, your families, and your friends ready to make their voices heard. Let's get more folks across the country trained with the tools, the resources, and the information they'll need to vote, because this election couldn't be more important.
Social distancing, staying 6 feet apart from others. A little thing that makes a big difference. Learn more now at coronavirusnow.com.
So we're talking to Tanika Randall about, everybody talks about 2020 being, their horrible year, but compared to 2011 for you, this is a walk in the park.
I'll take it.
Right. And that is so important for people to realize that, a lot of us have had worse years. We're just sitting around acting like this is the worst year ever. But a lot of us have had years when more than just a virus or staying in the house went wrong. And for you, 2011 was the year that you found out you had leukemia.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing either. I'm just going to look at you.
But like a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, this is the worst year. But I know I was telling my friend, I can't say that for me. Like, it's not like this has been an amazing year for me. Like even during the pandemic, it has been amazing. But 2011, that year, I told you in the beginning, worry was a big thing until I really had like, even the first round of chemo after that, I still had cancer, even though they thought it was going to be gone. And the doctors was like, well, it didn't work. It's still here. And if it don't work this time, the only thing is to get a transplant.
So you went through 2 rounds of chemo?
Yeah, the first one, I was there for 5 weeks. The chemo itself was just 5 days, but I was there for 5 weeks for the first round, went home for a week or 2 and went back for another month. Like
now here's what I heard. You lost your hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lost your, so you found out you have leukemia. Mm-hmm. You're doing 2 rounds of chemo, and and as is the case with that, you lose your hair, right? Yeah. Before we go into what you did after you lost your hair, talk to me about, because, you know, I'm a man, I'm a guy, obviously. And, you know, if my hair falls out, I will look in the mirror and go, and then go. I'll just keep going. But women have a different thing about their hair than I think. Oh, yeah. Not all men, because some men have the same kind of thing about their hair too, right? So let's make a human being. Some human beings have a thing about their hair, women specifically. Yeah. How did you feel about losing your hair? Was it an emotional thing, or just like, it's gone?
Oh no, it was serious. I remember telling my mom, losing my hair, that hurt me more than having cancer itself did. With cancer, wow. I knew I was gonna be all right. Ultimately, I knew God had me. I knew it was a purpose for that. But the hair part, I took that personally. It hurt. I remember my mom telling me, Tanika, I understand. Like, it's going to be okay. I understand. That was the first time ever in my life I shouted at my mama and told her, no, you do not understand. It is not your hair. It is mine. So that was hard. I was depressed about that. I wasn't worried about the cancer, but I was honestly depressed about losing my hair.
What was it, or what is it about your hair that made it so traumatic?
I've always, since I was a teenager, I've always been a hair person. I was that person doing the kitchen braids for people. I've always loved like hair and taking care of my hair and everything. So losing that, I really felt like I was losing a part of myself. Like and it's crazy. I know people say you shouldn't do that, but my hair is really like attached to like my identity. And I shouldn't do it, but it is.
Now, Tanika, stop for a second, because you got your finger right on it. You got your finger right on it. Because what you were mourning, or what you were lamenting, is a loss of your identity. Yeah. Right? A loss of a significant way of seeing yourself. Yeah. And your hair was representative of who you knew yourself to be. And you knew that once the hair was gone, you were no longer the Tanika Randall that you knew.
Yeah, I didn't see myself. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't know who that was looking back at me. It took, I adjusted, but it took some months, but I hated it at first. I was not happy. I was sad.
Ooh, that's so good. Tanika, stop. That's how good that was. Because there are so many people tonight who are watching this show, looking in the mirror and hating what they see. They don't even recognize what they see because of what life has done to them. You know what I'm saying? And you're on here tonight. What's your message to all the people who are where you used to be?
My message is really, you really do have to take the time to sit there and look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you are beautiful. I became really big on affirmations and just speaking positive things over myself. Even in the beginning when I didn't believe it. When I first looked in the mirror, I didn't believe I was beautiful. I felt like I was ugly, and I had this complex about my skin at the time. You know, now people love all this skin, but back then, you know, it was harder for us dark-skinned girls.
Dark-skinned boys too. Let me just tell you, keep going.
Yeah, so you know that was all playing over in my head. So then it was like, not only am I black, but now I'm like black and bald. So like, I really had to like speak positive things over myself, and it took a while. Like I still to this day, those voices pop up every now and then, but I have to repeatedly speak positive things over myself, tell myself I'm beautiful. And I really had to make myself believe it, like change my mindset really about myself. And I encourage everybody it takes work, but I encourage everybody to do that inner work themselves.
Yeah. Black and bald. What a burden to carry, huh?
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember people calling me, like one person calling me like that black bald head. And I'm like, I'm only bald because of cancer.
Right. I would have my hair if I wasn't sick.
Right. More than you right now, but let me stop. But yeah.
No, it's amazing to me because I am. Well, first of all, let me just say this here. I honor your journey. I honor your story, and I honor like all the things you're not saying because I'm listening to you on the lower frequencies. And I wonder how many nights you cried. I wonder. Let me ask you. I got to take a break, but I wonder how many nights successively did you shed tears?
I don't know what. I don't even remember.
Estimate.
I consecutively. Oh gosh, like especially in the hospital, I probably went at least a week that I remember. Like it took a while. I remember I recorded. I got to the point where I actually cut my hair off because it thinned out so much. I recorded it. The beginning of that recording was a breakdown video. Then I actually recorded the process with my kids helping me. And right when I shut that camera off, I broke down crying again after I had cut it off. Like it was hard.
Yeah. Listen, I got to take a break, but let me tell you why I asked the questions and I'll take this break. I believe that you have earned the right to dance just as long as you've had to cry. And I asked you how long you had to cry, how many successive days you cried, because I think you have earned the right to just get up when this interview is over and just run around your house and dance. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, let's take this quick break. We'll be right back. And the next part of the story is one you don't want to miss. Tanika Randall, I'm telling you. We'll be right back.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Tanika Randall. We've been talking about her bout with leukemia, losing her hair, which is really about the loss of identity, not even being able to recognize yourself when you look at yourself in the full-length mirror. But the irony of your story, and part of the reason why we wanted to have you on tonight is because out of that tragedy, out of that desperate sort of dark moment in your life, the literal event of losing your hair turned you on, or turned you I don't know what the word is, opened your mind to considering hair in a different way, right? Yeah. So you really took on a fascination with natural hair growth. And out of that, you did what?
Out of that, I ended up launching my own hair care line featuring like a hair care oil that even as my hair was falling out of my head,
I'm just saying, Tanika, see, that's the genius of Black people. We gotta stop the show, put the show on pause, and let's just celebrate Black folks. That's the genius of Black folks. That losing your hair, crying about your own hair, You took out of that the substance to create a hair care line and a business.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. Keep going.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because I had like a hair oil I was already using, but you know, when I got leukemia, I really started thinking about environmental factors that, you know, make people have cancer, chemicals and all of this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I need to stop doing crazy stuff to my hair. And I started using the oil on my hair as it was falling out. I still was massaging my scalp. And then in 2014, which was years later, I actually was playing around doing like scrubs and soaps. And I posted it on Facebook and people was like, oh, I like that. Are you selling it? And I was like, yeah, I'm selling it, even though I wasn't. Like, yeah, you want to buy it? And I started.
That's black folks too. That's black folks too.
Yeah, you want to buy it? Yeah. And I started selling the soaps, but people was like, I like the soaps, they good, but you need to, like, people were always asking T, what are your hair tips? Like, what is your secret? Is what they would say. Over the years, that's what I always got, because by 2014, my hair was halfway down my back. And I was like, I have this hair oil that I've been using on myself anyways. So I introduced that. And then I actually taught myself how to make conditioners and leave-in like moisturizers and everything. And yeah, that's really how my brand T's Hair Secret was started.
Wow. Wow. So was the hair oil that you were using, was it something you created?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mix of like different carrier and essential oils like peppermint, lavender, olive oil, yeah, jojoba, all of those. Yeah, I mixed it. I made it myself.
Okay, first of all, you are the best brand ambassador for your brand ever. If you ever do a full infomercial, just play this show because you told us that you lost your hair crying about your hair. Yeah. Created some oil mixture. I don't even know what you just said. Peppermints and juices and berries. I don't know what the hell was in it. And by the time you got from 2011, 2014, your hair was down your back, right?
Yeah, my hair was like halfway. I went from Mr. Clean Bald to having my hair halfway down my back.
Wow. Now tell us the name of your product line again, because there's a lot of people watching who want this product line.
It's T's Hair Secret. That's TEES Hair Secret.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. But what's amazing about it is that this was born not in the light. This business was born in the darkness. This product was born amid some of the worst news, or missed rather, some of the worst news you could possibly hear in your life. Nobody wants to hear that you have cancer. Oh, but no. You took cancer and turned it into a business.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I'm done with you.
You're done?
Like, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. That's how good that was. My point is, talk to me about this. You leaned into life. That's what you did. Yeah. You didn't sit around and you cried out. You told us that, and you felt it. You told us that. But eventually you discovered that if you just keep going, it gets better.
Yeah, it does. We have to, they say those storms come, but you make it through the storm. You got to go through the storm to get through it and come out on the other side. So you can't just sit there in that storm and keep feeling sad and sorry for yourself, because we all have our moments, but we can't just sit there and stay stuck in that spot.
But Tanika, some of that is cliche. You did something better than that.
Okay.
You went through the storm. Yeah. You stopped in the middle of the storm.
Yeah.
You took some of the rainwater. Yeah. You bottled it and you gave it to people to drink and to renew themselves. That's what amazing. You did.
That's amazing.
Don't play with me. I'm ready for you tonight. I'm not going through the storm. You took the rainwater, girl, and turned it into drinking water.
Amen.
It's been a delight to talk to you. It really has been. I love your spirit. I love everything that life is doing with you. Let me ask you two more quick questions. Mm-hmm. What don't you miss about that time in your life? Quickly.
I don't miss the pain. I don't miss the pain. Mm-hmm. I don't miss that at all.
And here's my last question for you tonight. What did you gain? What did that time give you that no other time in your life could have ever given you and has given you?
Strength. I found out that I'm stronger than I ever thought I ever could be.
Girl, I'm about to knock this computer over. Let me get you off the show before we break out into a praise break right here. Don't play with me. Listen, Tanika Randall is the truth, y'all. I love you. You hear me?
Family now.
Yes, you are a light. Wow, that's inspiring. You really are inspiring. It's hard to believe that in generations to come, Tanika, people will hardly believe that such a woman like you ever really existed.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
How you like them
Thank
apples?
you. I love that.
We'll be right back, everybody. Crystal Jackson's coming up next. Tanika Randall, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
No, please. Our pleasure, absolutely. We'll be right back. We got more to do. Tanika, ready? Happy dance. Come on. Oh. We're right back. Don't make me dance through the break now. Oh.
Poll workers are very important because they help facilitate the voting process.
Most individuals who work elections are over the age of 65. With the COVID-19 pandemic, that is a population that is incredibly vulnerable. That is why I signed up and received trainings to become a poll worker.
I signed up to be a poll worker. My mom actually brought it to my attention. She presented it to me, letting me know that it would be a great opportunity to make some quick extra money, as well as to get to know the voting system. And once I got all that information, I turned it right over to Ty, and I said, hey, do you want to do the election with me?
As a poll worker, it was my job to ensure everyone coming to vote was registered and received the correct ballot.
We go in and set up all of the equipment to make sure when voters come the next day, their experience is as pleasant as possible. Why should you become a poll worker? One, it's a great way to give back to your community, and it's also a great way to see democracy in action.
I would encourage more young people to come out and work the election polls and bring your friends.
It makes the time go by faster, too.
Does. It makes a difference when poll workers reflect the communities in which they serve.
Tamika Tiny Harris presents The Mix.
We need the tea. We need the tea.
I've been getting a lot of these sugar daddy DMs.
On Fox Soul.
I had some creepy DMs in the past. Hey, when can I take you out? I'm like, who are you?
I slide in a lot of DMs, but I'm just be sending inspiration.
Wait, do y'all really think that Romeo is really sliding in everybody's DMs?
Yeah.
Inspiration?
Every Tuesday night.
They telling their girlfriends like, ooh, Romeo is in my DMs. Give me some inspiration, girl. I'm about to...
Trina. Welcome back, everybody. We are not done yet. We got more. We got a lot more. And now we get to talk to a woman who is also in business, but helping entrepreneurs and companies and helping people. Her work, her life's work, her passion is to make sure that people ascend to levels beyond their wildest imagination. I can't wait for you to meet and welcome to the program tonight, the one and only Crystal Jackson. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, Dr. Sean. Thank you for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. It's our absolute pleasure. Let me ask you this. What has you excited these days? What has you up early and excited to face every morning in life?
Well, you know what? I think, this pandemic, it's relative, right? The impact it's had on everyone, right? I'm excited about what's going to come out of it, right? Because I don't think you have this much disruption and nothing good comes. I just believe there's going to be something wonderful on the other side of it. And I'm looking forward to that. And I have to be honest with you, there are days when I'm like, okay, now, like, when is it coming? But I really believe there's going to be something wonderful on the other side.
Yes, no. We talked about this a little bit before the show started, and I made you stop telling me because, okay, right now you're in Mississippi?
I'm in Mississippi, of all places.
But you live in Oakland.
That's exactly right.
So real quick, come on. How did you get from Oakland to Mississippi?
So 3 years ago, I moved to the Bay Area, right? In pursuit of, and you'll appreciate this, I wanted to be immersed in the technology field, right? I had been going back and forth to the Bay for like 18 months, go in for a few days and leave. But, you know, there's something about proximity, right?
Yes.
I know, and we all can, you know, attest to the fact that tech is not going anywhere, good, bad, or indifferent. And so in the work I do, I feel like it's always important for me to be relevant in order to really serve and have the level of impact that I want to. So I believe tech is sort of like this last frontier of wealth building, but I also believe it's a tool that we're going to need. Now, fast forward, we're in COVID, we see we need tech, right? But how did I end up in Mississippi? So I'm on the West Coast attending an event for a friend, and we have a home in Mississippi in a town where my mom was born 75 years ago. And, you know, I thought, okay, I'll just go early and open the house and get it straight for my brother and his family to come visit for spring break. That was what we were thinking. And all of a sudden you're watching the news and it says global pandemic. And I'm like, OMG, well, I'm not going anywhere. I am sitting still. But like most folks, we thought, okay, in 2 weeks, we can go back outside, right?
So you've been there the whole time?
The entire time, I think.
No, wow, that. Ironically, there are a lot of people who did a similar thing. I know people who kind of went somewhere to, you know, thinking they were going to be there a little while, only to discover that they've been there 8-9 months. It is a common thing, and that's part of the journey for 2020, right? 2020 is that kind of year. But in the midst of it all, tell me this, Crystal, what are you grateful for? As you look over the landscape of your life, the length and breadth of it, what are you grateful for?
Look, they say if I had 1,000 tongues, right? In this moment, I am really just being grateful for being kept. You know, I feel like when you look at the world, there are so many people just struggling, right? And just trying to get through the day. My mother and I had this conversation earlier today. I'm just so grateful that I have been sort of kept, right? And no goodness of my own, but just grace and being in provision and just being kept. And I think in a moment like this, if you have the least amount of compassion, right? If you think about people are just on the fringe, right? They are just trying to hold on to hope. I'm just so grateful in this moment I've been kept.
Yeah. So tell me, what's the best thing about being Crystal Jackson?
You know what? The best thing about being Crystal Jackson is I get to wake up every day, do what I love, and not only do I have the chance to do what I love, but I get to help people, right? And what greater feeling at night to say, you know, wow, I see where their ripple effects are small or some impact, but I get a chance every day to sort of, you know, do what I love and help people.
So let me ask you the converse. What's the most difficult, what's the most challenging thing about being Crystal Jackson?
And there is a challenge. A couple of years ago, I have to share this story. I, you know, was feeling overwhelmed and I wanted a confidant. So I found I have a coach that sort of coaches my career. But I went to a therapist. We talked a lot about, you know, what was bothering me. And I have to tell you, there was this moment where I recognized this dissonance between the work that I do and then the reality that I live, right? And so what that is, you know, I have been fortunate to be with people that have great wealth and influence, but also there are folks I have to help serve that, you know, are struggling to make payroll, right? And so in the course of a day, Dr. Sean, I could go from someone who, you know, they're raising $10 million and then someone else will call me and say, Crystal, you have any place or idea where I can find someone to maybe write or invest in my work just so I can meet payroll this week. And so the years of trying to juggle that sort of extreme, I realized it started to weigh on me.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what did it do to you?
It really weighed on me. And what I had to do was I really, really had to create boundaries around work and also recognize, you know, when things were not my assignment. So I've become really good at saying, oh, I can't be helpful. Do you know, I'm sorry, I don't know. And creating real boundaries around what I could and could not.
But you know what, Crystal, so hold, just stop for a second. Before you get to how you fixed it, right? I go back to it weighing on you, because there are people who are watching tonight who need to know how it manifested in you, because it may be manifesting in them the same way. And you telling us that may help as many people as telling us how you fixed it. So go back to that. When you say it was weighing on you, how did that weight manifest itself?
Well, this is going to probably sound a little crazy, but I developed a rash. I've never had high blood pressure. So it was none of those things that people tend to say, oh, wow, like I don't eat, like I'm not a stress eater. So all the things that people sort of tend to do didn't happen, but I developed an allergy. Now this is interesting. I was in California and I discovered a lavender farm, and I love lavender, right? And also I love what lavender does. Lavender is supposed to, it relaxes you. So I was over indexing on live lavender and broke out in the worst rash, right? So I remember Dr. Sean, first I went to the dermatologist. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And I said, am I sick? And she goes, no, you're not sick. Went through this horrible allergy test, which everyone should have, but it's not fun. So I'll just say that up front. Went through this allergy test and realized I was having this reaction to live lavender. Now, where I'm going with that is I was sort of medicating by surrounding myself with this relaxing fragrance so that it was, it's taking away the stress, right? And I realized, I said, the doctor said, if you had not used so much at one time, right? And I thought, let me deal with what's causing me to want to have so much lavender or use so much lavender. I mean, and it sounds sort of like simple, but that was sort of like my pain. And I had a rash. Now I'm a person, I've never even had a pimple, right? So it was interesting that this manifestation of stress was my skin. And again, I've never even had a pimple. I don't even know if my mother's ever had even.
Well, you know what, Crystal, what was interesting actually is the fact that the rash and the lavender was the first step. You caught it at the first step. It was not going to stop with lavender. If you see what I'm saying? It was going to move to something else, but you caught it early. That's the power of it. And that's what everybody watching needs to get from this part of the conversation. Your stress is manifesting itself, and what it's doing now, it may be 3 times worse 3 months from now.
That's right. And I think that's, we have to pay attention to who we are, to ourselves, what we're feeling. And then when I dealt with, why I was doing that, I said, well, I need to sort of reconfigure some things here and just create some boundaries. And that's what I started to do. I mean, it sounds sort of cliche-ish, but recognizing.
Not at all.
Recognizing when things are really my assignment, right? And so now people email me, and you can only imagine during the pandemic, right? So people started emailing, and I would just have to say, I'm sorry, I can't be helpful. And look, and be fine with it, right? Because everything's not my assignment.
That's right. That's a good word. Everybody needs to hear that. Everybody watching needs to hear that, because that's important. Know what you are assigned to do, and stop letting yourselves be nailed to crosses what you were never supposed to bear. I tell people all the time, Crystal, that ain't my cross. That's yours. You go up there. You go up there and bleed. I'll be at the grave when you rise again. But I'm not here to die for you. Jesus did that, and I ain't doing it. Listen, I got to take a break, but I want everybody, don't forget to check out our Fox Soul presidential debate viewing party this Thursday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Listen, you got to watch it. You absolutely have to watch it. And if you sign up for Fox Bet Super 6 app and guess 6 questions correctly, you might win $50,000. You're going to be glad I told you about Fox Bet app. Sign up for it. Guess some questions. Matter of fact, somebody get me the app. I need $50,000. We'll be right back.
there's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
Anytime they're playing music downstairs, it's loud. I go downstairs, see what they're doing, see what music they're doing, see what they're dancing to. I go play piano downstairs, they come get involved. Leah has a drum set beside it, banging that. Any music, that's what they do.
Social distancing. Staying 6 feet apart from others. A little thing that makes a big difference. Learn more now at coronavirusnow.com.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Crystal Jackson. And hey, Crystal, so you were involved in something called the social impact sector. And when I saw that, I said, what the hell is that? What is that?
Well, you know what? This is so funny. Now, I'll say this to you on your show. It's what Black people have been doing all of our lives. But somehow, in the past 25 years, it's become a sector, right? And basically, it is the belief that you can do good and do well at the same time, right? And it's what we've been doing through our churches, our civic organizations, taking care of our community, taking care of our elderly people, sending our children to college, making certain businesses have what they need so that they didn't go under. Now there's a whole sector, right, where it's, people often think about nonprofit. So I've worked in sort of nonprofit, and I've also worked in philanthropy, which is sort of the other side. It's the side where we sort of make investments. So yeah, there's a whole sector now.
Yes, you started Head and Heart Philanthropy, right? And I wanted to make sure that we drill down on that. First, tell everybody what Head and Heart Philanthropy happens to be. What is it?
So it is a social impact organization, and we focus on improving outcomes in communities of color around a couple of areas. One is health, education, tech, and economic development. So those are sort of like our focus. Really what I mean by that is we look at parts of the country where people of color, Black people, are experiencing disparity. And so we work with like innovators and leaders that have come up with ideas to sort of go in and make improvements. So my work has always been around how do I amplify voices and leaders that are doing good work? So a lot of times people will say, I've never heard of you. And I'm like, great. And then I'll say, well, have you heard of this? They'll go, yes. And I'm like, oh, I've been doing my job. Because my job has been, in some ways, to be a king and queen maker. When you think about it, my work has been, how do I help provide greater access and opportunity so people can continue to do good work?
Well, listen, you just explained, you could not have explained it any better than saying that your work is to be a king and queen maker. Like in the future, if anybody ever asks you that question again, just play this part of the show. Because that's it. That'll make anybody understand it and everybody excited about what you do, because everybody needs somebody who can help them find, adjust, and then keep their crown.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Dr. Sean, I'm very particular about the people I work with. This is what's been important for me. It can't just be about making money, right? And so a lot of the work that I do when I meet people, if it's just about you making money, then I'm like, I'm probably not going to be a good fit for you. Because I think in our community, we have to do good and well at the same time.
Yeah.
We have to make money, but we also have to think about how can we have impact.
Yeah, no, it's powerful. That's very powerful. And I think, I bring on entrepreneurs all the time, and we talk about, business and Black businesses and things people are doing, all that's wonderful. But I also think, and the reason I do it is so that people will understand and can understand that Black innovation and Black greatness and excellence is not something that just happened 25, 200, or 50 years ago. That Black people are endeavoring to do extraordinary things in the strangest of places, even right now. You have a partnership with JP Morgan Chase, and I want you to tell everybody about it because I think it's important that people hear it.
So I guess it's been 2 years ago now. I hosted this event on Martha's Vineyard. JP Morgan was there, and we were talking about some ways to support small businesses. And I think about, I'm an entrepreneur and I am extremely focused always on how I could support small businesses. And one of the things that kept occurring to me, Dr. Sean, since living in the Bay was, I kept thinking about how small businesses are not tech enabled. Now this was pre-COVID. So for instance, you go somewhere for a service, they're using pen and paper, they're not using tech tools that, and here's the thing, no judgment there because tech tools are not cheap. So I said to them, I'd like to run a pilot and I'd like to focus on New Orleans. And I picked New Orleans for two reasons. One, my own ancestral legacy is in New Orleans. When my family came over from Haiti, New Orleans was the first stop. So, I've always had like a sweet spot there, and my family, they became entrepreneurs. So I wanted to go to New Orleans for that reason, feeling connected. But two, I believe post-Katrina, the story that's never been told is that Black people pretty much saved themselves in New Orleans. And I kept thinking about being a child of the Gulf Coast, being from Houston, thinking about the damage that happens when hurricanes come. It's like every year there are hurricanes and people have to readjust their lives. So I said, well, let's take a look at New Orleans and see what small businesses need there as it relates to technology. And I was intentional about picking a place far from Silicon Valley because oftentimes, people think about what happens in the valleys happening everywhere else. No, it's not. And of course, when we first started, people were like, okay, that sounds a little interesting. But Dr. Sean, when COVID hit, my phone started ringing off the hook. Hey, you still have that program where you can help us find tech tools? Because the businesses that stayed open that were essential, guess what? Most of them are tech enabled. Right. And you got the 41% of businesses, Black businesses that will go under. I say all the time, I wonder if of that 41%, if any of them just had some tech tools, what a difference it would make. I mean, maybe everyone wouldn't have, been able to stay open, but if you were a restaurant and you were tech enabled, guess what? You were able to be a part of the gig economy with delivery services and so forth. So, I mean, just if you had tech tools, you were able to stay afloat. And here's the reality. Guess what? Tech isn't going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, and neither is the need for business and support and capital to help businesses thrive. Let me change gears before I got to go because I'm running out of time. But let's get back to you a little bit. Who supported you the most along this journey?
Oh my God! You know what? I have to say my family. I'll say this about my parents, my aunts and uncles, my brothers, my cousins. I have been so blessed that, whatever dream I had, there was someone cheering for me. And I think that's so important. And I do know that's why I'm committed to this work, because sometimes all you need is just someone cheering for you. You don't have to understand where people are going. You may not fully appreciate it, but cheer for them. And so
Yeah.
in my life, I've had that.
Yeah, listen, Crystal Jackson, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate you. Keep doing the work that you're doing, because we need philanthropy. We need philanthropy with both head and heart, as you know. And I thank you for all that you're doing. Listen, you got anything new coming along, come back and talk to me about it. We'd love to have you.
Yes.
So listen, yes, listen, everybody. So I said I was going to tell you about this at tomorrow night, but I'm going to do it tonight. I want to talk to you before I go off the air about a conversation that I had with a young man. And that conversation I had with a young man last night. And here's how the conversation boiled itself down. There's a certain generation among us, and for them, the internet is God, meaning they don't question it. They think it's never wrong. It's always right. They run to it for answers. It's a strange relationship. And I'm mentioning it because there's a segment of Black men in this country who are falling victim to all kinds of crazy conspiracies on the internet that you would think rural white people are falling victim to. No, urban Black men are being targeted by advocates of a certain campaign and all of the people that support him. I won't go on to all the details about it, but I will tell you this. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. And make sure that wherever you get your information, you run that information through a set of critical places. What separates scholarship from the internet is that if I write something in the academy, I write it, I have to tell you my sources, where I got it from. Those sources have to be critiqued and criticized. And then what I've written has to be reviewed by other people who are experts in the area. On the internet, I can just write anything. I can get it from anywhere. And because it appears on your phone, people think it's true. We gotta stop this. We gotta get back to believing that expertise and critical review matters. Information is not knowledge. Information is not truth. I just feel I have to say that. I have to say it because in these last 2 weeks of this election, people are going to be doing a lot of crazy things. And I don't want you to be duped just because you saw some video that's been doctored on the internet. Remember, people, there's a whole show called Catfish, where people assume false identities, find out a way to have alternative voices, text messages from nowhere. They can show you pictures that don't exist. Don't you think that these same tools can be used to skew your view of candidates, politics, and the future of your life? So think for yourself. Please do. And remember, on Thursday night, we are going to have our live debate commentary here on Fox Soul, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And please remember, you can go on and sign up for the Fox Bet Sports 6 app. Did I say it right? Fox Bet Super 6 app, rather. And you can answer 6 questions right, you get $50,000. I'm telling you, $50,000 is a good thing. I don't care where you get it from. So make sure you do that. Tune in on Thursday. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Watch Claudia. She's coming up next. Be good to each other. I love you.